Hi, everybody. This is Rhonda Cobb, the Money Coach, and welcome to the show. Don't forget, I'm always open to your requests or your questions. You can email me at rcmoneycoach@gmail.com. And also, don't forget, the brand new website is up and running. If you haven't looked at that yet, you want to go take a look and send me a little feedback and tell me what you think. rcmoneycoach.com. Alrighty, on with the show. Well, here we are, and we're not quite certain how we arrived. The one thing we are certain of is this wasn't our desired destination. Stress is a little high, and satisfaction is a little low. And those who are still working are kind of angry and anxious, while those who are discharged, laid off, or in limbo are doubly so. Right? Now, you've heard me say this before. The Forget You program is a great program. And working with the people who enroll, many ask the same questions. Why didn't I learn this in school? How did this happen to me? And I have a good job. How can I be broke? The Forget You program is designed to put you in the proper financial position of security, freedom, and growing wealth, where, if necessary, you could say, Forget you. I'm out of here, without having to fear bankruptcy. There's one sure way to avoid stress, knowing you have an exit strategy if you need it. Now, before we say, I would have done that, or I should have done that, or I could have done that, let's say it's not too late because it isn't. And today I'm going to give you some instantly usable tips to survive these turbulent times. You may notice I'm my usual upbeat and direct self. And why shouldn't I be? I refuse to capitulate to the pokes and prods of our enemies, whoever, wherever they are, with a reaction that serves to inflate their power, wealth, or control, or their germy little bugs. That's just me. I'm kind of a stinker like that. But this is exactly what people with a good money intelligent quotients do. They get sad so that life doesn't throw them to the wolves and keep them there. So today, we're going to delve into quick strategies to keep the wolves outside your humble abode. First off, let's discuss our attitude. Rather than giving up and amassing excessive debt and or lasting poverty, let's think about controlling our reactions to the adverse stimuli. While some of the blame falls squarely in the lap of our governmental agencies and representatives, there is likely plenty of blame to go around. And let's not get started on that. That's not our point. Rather, let us control our reaction. I'd like to encourage you to be calm and rational and prepared, decisive, independent, and yes, maybe even a little bit, join me, rebellious. They want us to crumble. We are not that badly constructed that we have to crumble. We can step up to the plate, and eventually I believe everyone will have to. Calm and determination will succeed where fear, and chaos will fail you. Now let's choose to limit our exposure. To what? Good question. As I have mentioned in the past, a top factor of excessive debt and lasting poverty is inaccurate information from agencies, the media, culture, big banks, and sadly, sometimes from family, friends, and especially social media. Combined with the heavy influence of advertising, entertainment, and social media, our expectations based on our visual images are much greater than our ability to fund them. Not only will this exposure create desires you cannot fulfill, but that lack of fulfillment will create angst you cannot relieve. Avoid it. and you can choose your own pathway. Now, let's increase our exposure. Wait, you just said to limit our exposure. Yep, we're confused. Well, hold tight and ask, what are we increasing our exposure to? Another good question. The good things that life has for us: friends, family, faith, art, music, exercise, nature, and yippee, free stuff. I'm going to say this next part because it will affect your entire life, including your money. We must face our fears. We are not in this together, not really. What a lot of bunk those are, they are. Millionaires telling us we're in it together. Really? How so? We have been purposefully separated by our foes, and the impact will be greatest on those with the least assets. The truly poor will remain poor. The fake poor will become poor, and the middle class stands to be nearly eliminated, culminating a 25-year or so old war against it, while the moderately affluent and the wealthy will be fine if they don't panic. But facing our fear will allow us to create a plan that will reduce the downside risk and increase your ability to not only survive, but thrive during this turbulent time. Just forget about that junk on TV and focus on your own priorities. Sitting idle and eating, drinking, or smoking yourself into a coma is not going to help anything, least of all, you. We could all use a daily quiet zone, right? It's okay to tune out, turn it all off, and get a little fresh air. Couple hours a day should do it. You have voicemail. Use it. That text that just pinged, ignore it. TV, squelch it. YouTube, yeah, pause it. Have a cup of tea or whatever. Take a class in meditation. Learn how to speak positively to yourself. Something like that that will enrich your life with a very small expenditure. You're worth it and you need it. Later on, I'm going to do a show called Should I Stay or Should I Go? And you won't want to miss that one. Now, come on, come on, come on. Get to the point. Are you offering tips or running for office? Well, I'm not qualified to run for office, so I better get to the tips, right? Without further ado, during this difficult time, I want to make sure that you know all of the following. And there's so many of these. As I started writing, I got so many that we're going to do this show in two parts because there were so many tips and so many different folk in different situations that I wanted to have enough tips that you can pick and choose the one that relates best or the ones that relate best to your situation. But for almost everybody, the first one is if you need personalized assistance, reach out. I'm only an email away. And the next one's for almost everybody as well. Immediately implement a spending freeze except for essentials like your groceries, your rent or your mortgage, and your utilities. And don't forget the key question. What's the key question? Oh, glad you asked. Do I want it or do I need it? You see, you can live for a little while without your wants. You can postpone those. But your needs, you better have food, you better have water, and you better have a place to just get in out of the rain. The next one is pay everything that's essential on time or even a day early. Well, what if you can't make a payment due to instant unemployment? In that case, you should make a phone call, send an email, or go online. Get a waiver or a plan or a voucher, whatever that company is calling it. But don't ignore these bills because they're not going to go away and they are your responsibility. But I want to tell you from these couple weeks of experience with this, you must say the magic words in order to get these waivers. Well, what are the magic words? I've been affected negatively by the COVID-19. If you haven't been affected negatively, don't sign up for a waiver. You're still going to have to pay that bill anyway. Just pay it on time. You know, they're going to keep the interest accumulating anyway. These are for the people that really did lose their jobs. Now, try as much as you can not to let anything go to collection. Once it's in collection, it is a bear to get that off your credit report. And believe me, I know I work on this daily for my clients. If you have lost your job or you're struggling financially, see what you can do to seek essential or virtual employment, depending on your health risk. If you can be out and about, go get some essential job. If not, look for something virtual. Don't increase your debt if you can avoid it. Now, that being said, don't use your retirement savings to avoid increasing your debt. That is a terrible idea. Please do not steal from your future or take a penalty on your retirement savings. And don't fall for what I call crap that says we've reduced restrictions on retirement fund access for your own good. There's a pothole in that road and it screams out, swerve now to avoid permanent damage. If you're already retired, then don't change up too much in terms of where the money is housed unless it is in an insecure place. And you really want to select your financial advisor for your retirement funds very, very carefully. Now, if you can afford to, I know I just said don't buy anything, but here we are. If you could afford to, you might want to buy these two things: better physical security and a good supply, not a ton, not hoarding, but a good supply of non-perishable food. And to me, physical security is not web-based, electrical, or virtual monitoring where the provider can access your home or mistakenly, or if there's a glitch in the system, lock you out. Physical security is deadbolts, restraint bars, and good lighting. A dog serves a dual purpose, but that is an expensive commitment. So be able to fulfill the commitment if you adopt a dog. Huh, Buster? Isn't that right? Buster's a really good physical security, but he eats a lot. Oh, sorry. Poor guy. He's giving me the evil Buster eye. Non-perishable food is canned goods and dry goods. Don't panic. Don't stockpile too much. And of course, don't hoard. And don't buy junk that you don't eat. I don't want you to panic at all. And I do want you to try to opt for pickup or delivery. That way, you don't have as much exposure to germs. Plus, good grief, it saves a lot of time. It's very convenient, apparently. But you probably